Hello guys, welcome back to Sync in English. And today we are going to discuss about personality. So we'll be discussing about the factors uh, that influence or the factors which are responsible for personality development. So the development of the personality. Last class we discussed about psychological factors and biological factors. Today let's see about environmental factors. So environmental factors have been isolated and have shown very significant impact upon development of the personality, under which we can talk about social acceptance. So social acceptance is one of the major environmental determinants. So every person lives in a social group which judges the other person's behavior in terms of person's conformity. So even the conformity concept was explained in previous videos in social psychology, in unit social psychology. You can go back to that video and you can understand in depth of conformity, how we conform to others in a group setting. So here, according to person's conformity to group, expectations regarding proper performance, behavior, and appropriate role playing will be there. So here, the social judgment serves as a basis for self-evaluation. So in this way, the social group tends to influence the development of self-concept. So how the social group influences the self-concept, just now we have seen. So social acceptance is one of the major environmental determinant. And especially when we talk about social acceptance, those whose social acceptance is very high, they are generally a more outgoing type of personality and more flexible as well, and even daring and more active than those who are moderately socially accepted or moderately popular. So this is how the social acceptance works. So when we talk about other environmental factors, so we can talk about educational factors. So coming to educational factors, so we have which is another important and more which influences the development of personality, where school, colleges, teachers have significant impact upon the individual development of personality. So this impact of education institute upon personality development is largely determined by the students' attitude towards the school and colleges, and even towards the teachers, towards peers, and also towards value of education. So this is how the educational factor would actually determine the personality. When we talk about schools, right? So the children spend much of their time in the schools, and hence it can play a very significant part in the formation of personality of the child. So when we talk about teacher, especially in educational setting, when we talk about teacher is the most important person in the school who can help in modifying the children's personalities. So he or she is the most powerful source of stimulation for this child. So if he or she possess desirable personal reactions which were inculcated within them, definitely these students, on the other hand, affects prejudicial treatment on the part of teachers can make the child lose self-confidence and develop low self-esteem. So if at all, then there is a prejudice, treatment towards the children, there would be loss of, loss of self-confidence would be there. And even it affects the development of self-esteem, where the self-esteem would become low. So within the education system, educational factors teacher plays a major role in formation of personality, because it is affecting the self-esteem as well. So teachers should not be prejudicial towards the child. So otherwise it affects the self-esteem. So coming to family determinants. So when we talk about family, among environmental factors or determinants, the most important is the family environment. So the reaction of the family environment towards an individual and the role of parents are very important in molding the personality. So here, parents serves a model who actually starts imitates and their influence is considerable on the child. So the child would mimic or imitate the parents, and then it has a considerable effect on the child's personality. So among family determinants, among environmental determinants, family determinants, environmental factors, family determinants plays a major role in formation of one's personality. So on the other hand, if a whole family is a friendly and tolerant fathers, would help their children to have a greater emotional stability, self-esteem, and self-confidence. So opposite would be reverse. So friendly and strict parenting would also has an impact upon the child's you know personality development. For example, overprotective mothers will influence their child in the direction of dependence and a total disregard for others. So when the mothers are very much overprotective, they would the child would become directionless and even always direction of dependence. So this would even results in emotional instability as well. So coming to ordinal position, so especially when we talk about birth order, this is another familial factor which can have a potential influence on the personality development. So all children has a unique position in the family, such as eldest, youngest, second or third orders, according to the birth order. So this position has definite influence on personality as well. So the eldest child is very often overburdened with the responsibility. So youngest, being the baby of the family, is more of spoiled sort of thing. And so the birth order also matters when when the formation of personality. And coming to size of the family. So when we talk about size of the family, this factor also affects the development of personality, especially in large families. Parents have little time to protect any child. So as such, children learn to be independent and show maturity in their behavior at early age as compared to children of smaller families. So that's the advantage and disadvantage of having smaller and larger families. However, larger families encourage certain personality characteristics that may hamper good personal and social adjustments as well. So for keeping the home environment reasonably calm, parents of large families generally adopt authoritarian method of control, which produces a strong sense of resentment and rebellion among the children. So if you see this sort of family size, large and small family size, to actually control the children, they adopt different types of parenting methods, authoritarian type of parenting, etc. So that would bring the rebellion aspects of the child also. So even the family size also matters, where it considerably affects the the person's personality. So, due to strict competition for getting parental attention, affection, and approval in small families, jealousy and envy, especially against the firstborns who are perceived to be parents' favorites, damages the self-concept of the concerned individual. So, in the small families, there are different aspects that would actually, you know, hamper the personality, and comes to larger families, there is a sort of individual concept is developed. So this is about size of the family. So in this part we have discussed about social acceptance, educational factors. Within educational factors we talked about teachers, peers, and how they shape the personality of an individual. And we talked about family determinants, and we talked about emotional climate. So how exactly this emotional processing would actually be there in the families, and how it would affect according to even ordinal position for and the birth order and size of the family. So I hope you enjoyed this video and it is informative. So please try to subscribe, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe, and we'll meet you in the next part. Thank you.